In 1944, just before the D-Day invasion, General Patton addressed his troops. I'm going to clean this up a little bit because this is a family show. General Patton said, quote, "We're not going to just shoot the sons of lady dogs. We're going to rip out their living GD guts and use them to grease the treads of our tanks. We're going to murder those lousy Hun blank suckers by the bushel effing basket. War is a bloody killing business. You've got to spill their blood or they will spill yours. Rip them up the belly. Shoot them in the guts. When shells are hitting all around you and you wipe the dirt off your face and realize that instead of dirt, it's the blood and guts of what was once your best friend beside you, you'll know what to do." That's how the military used to talk. Yesterday, the Marine Corps and the Air Force tweeted out pictures of rainbows and wished everyone a happy Pride Month. The Marines declared their commitment to, quote, "fostering an environment free from discrimination and treating, quote, all equally with dignity and respect." Now, nice as all that sounds, that is not the job of the U.S. military. The U.S. military is not an HR department at some millennial tech startup. The job of the military is to kill our enemies. At least, it was. For years, the military held out as one of the last institutions to resist leftist takeover. Those days appear to be finished. Today, the radical leftists who run our armed forces whine about white rage. They give patriotic servicemen the boot for not taking the Fauci ouchie. They cram the rhetoric of diversity, equity, and inclusion down the throats of the brave men and women who volunteer to serve and kill the bad guys. The radicals who have taken control of our military don't really care so much about winning wars abroad. They're much more interested in winning the ideological war at home. And in that war, as far as the radicals are concerned, the enemy is us. For the next 28, 29 days, things are going to get super duper gay. Really, really gay. Okay, and you saw it in the military. That was bad enough. Kind of ironic, too, that the military is promoting diversity. That great speech I read from George Patton up there at the top. He has a whole section of that speech where he says, "I don't want any of this individualism crap, okay? You're in the military. You do what everyone else is doing, and you shoot and you kill the enemy and you follow orders." Diversity has no place in the military. When servicemen suit up and they're getting ready for battle, do they put on diverses? Do they button up all of their diverses and then go out there to fight? No, they put on their uniforms because diversity is not what you want in the military. You want absolute uniformity. I'm not saying uniformity of race or uniform, but you want uniformity at a deep level. You want everyone to be doing the same thing. And you don't want people expressing their weird sexual desires or appetites. That has no place in the military. If you have something eccentric or unusual or distracting from the mission, repress it. Keep it to yourself. It's not about you. It's about the country and protecting the country and killing the enemies. That's what the military used to be about. But not even the military is immune these days from all this wokeness. Certainly corporate America is not immune. We saw this yesterday with Starbucks. Starbucks announced, quote, "When we are recognized and accepted for who we are, our communities are stronger for it. During Pride Month, we join our LGBTQIA2 plus partners." There's a 2. What does the 2 stand for? I don't know. Partners, employees in supporting trans equality who advocate for the acceptance and understanding of transgender people. So Starbucks coming out as extremely gay. We knew Starbucks was very, very gay ever since they premiered the sous vide egg bites. That, I think, was the proof positive. And they're very delicious egg bites. So there you have it. As Starbucks and every other corporation in America just about is going to be embracing the rainbow. You're seeing this at the level of the government. Joe Biden yesterday tweeted out, quote, "During Pride Month, we honor the resilience of LGBTQI plus people." So no A, no 2, very discriminatory from Biden. These people who are fighting to live authentically and freely. We reaffirm that LGBTQI plus rights are human rights. And we recommit to delivering protections, safety, and equality so everyone can realize the full promise of America. It's an important point here because you're going to hear this phrase a lot, LGBTQ rights. There is no such thing as LGBTQ rights. It's a phrase that people will use, just like they invent all sorts of rights these days, but there is no right to that. I'm not saying that people who have some sexual confusion or an unusual sexual identity don't have any rights. They have certain rights, but there is no such thing as LGBTQI rights. Just because you say something is a right doesn't mean that it is. Rights are actually grounded in reality if rights are to have any meaning at all. Let's just take the T because it's the clearest example. A man does not have a right to pretend that he's a woman. That's actually wrong of him to do. He does. If the source of our rights is just our making a claim for them, then there's no end to that. But of course, there are no such rights. The Biden administration, the left, is trying to invent civil rights to that, but it doesn't exist. It's not right at all. And this is not just about inclusion and being very nice and being very accepting. This is very, very aggressive. We just saw yesterday, and this wouldn't be the first time we've seen this, the United States government flying a pride flag at the Vatican, at the Holy See. It says, quote, "Today is the start of Pride Month. The United States respects and promotes the equality and human dignity of all people, including the LGBTQIA+ community. Hashtag Pride Month, hashtag all inclusive, hashtag Pride 2022. The libs are going to play this off and say, look, this is just a positive affirmation of our view of sexuality and pride. But it's not positive because they don't do this in Muslim countries. They don't do this in Saudi Arabia. They don't do this in places where they think it's going to result in a bombing or a suicide attack. This is not about affirming LGBT. This is about attacking Christianity. This is about attacking the traditions in the West. If it weren't, they'd be flying these flags in Saudi Arabia and throughout the Muslim world. But they're not, because it's not about the rainbow. It's not about LGBT. It's about saying F you to tradition, to our traditional understanding of how to behave. I'm glad you liked that clip. Now, ring, ding, subscribe. Listen, guys, this is Pride Month, okay? I don't know what that has to do with anything, but come on, all right? This is when we've got to get serious. You got to be inclusive. You've got to be diverse. You got to open your mind to lots of new opinions and notifications. Ring, ding, subscribe. Do what you got to do. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your audio podcasts. Subscribe there as well to The Michael Knowles Show. We'll see you next time.